If you've never seen a suburban HOA bring a town to its knees with one stupid decision, buckle up. It started with a trench, a narrow, crooked scar running down the grassy easement behind Maple Hollow Estates, a gated neighborhood that thought it was above city code, county regulation, and, apparently, the laws of physics. The HOA president, Janet Withers, was furious about standing water collecting near her yard. She insisted it was the HOA's top priority, even above repaving the cracked tennis court or fixing the broken security gate. She pointed fingers, banged her gavel, and declared war on poor drainage. But instead of hiring a licensed engineer or going through the county's permitting process, she did what power-hungry HOA presidents do best. She hired a buddy, Roger Green, a landscaping contractor whose license had been suspended for unpermitted sewer work 2 towns over, showed up with a rented excavator and a hand-drawn map. Their plan? Dig a new trench to redirect water away from the low-lying lots. Their method? Tap directly into what they thought was a storm runoff pipe. Problem is, that wasn't a storm pipe. It was a protected aquifer line, part of the underground filtration channel supplying water to 3 nearby neighborhoods. And the second they punctured it, the town's fate was sealed. 2 days later, residents on the east side of Oak Ridge began noticing something was off. Their tap water was cloudy. It smelled faintly of motor oil and sulfur. At first, people thought it was just a temporary thing, maybe old pipes or the city flushing hydrants. But by Thursday morning, 3 kids were hospitalized for vomiting, and the town's mayor issued a boil water advisory. The health department launched an emergency investigation, and it didn't take long to trace the contamination source: illegal digging in Maple Hollow Estates. A drone survey revealed that Janet's hired contractor had not only tapped into the protected channel, he had poured concrete around it to try and stabilize the trench, sealing in trace amounts of industrial lubricants and sediment runoff. In doing so, they had created a backflow, sending silt, chemical residue, and surface bacteria directly into the town's water filtration system. When the county water board showed up at Janet's door with inspectors and police, she did what any entitled HOA president would do. She denied everything. She claimed they were just landscaping. She said the town had no jurisdiction over private property. She even accused the county of harassment. But there was one thing she didn't know. A retired civil engineer named Don Barkley had been watching everything unfold from across the street, and he had video evidence. Don Barkley had lived in Maple Hollow for 27 years. He never liked the HOA, but he kept to himself until they started digging near the aquifer line. Don wasn't just a retired engineer, he was one of the consultants who designed the original filtration system back in the 90s. When he saw Roger Green's crew digging without permits, without blueprints, and worst of all, without a sediment barrier, he knew something was wrong. He pulled out his drone, logged every step of the unpermitted excavation, and documented the concrete pouring. He even recorded a phone call where one of the workers admitted they had no clue what was under the ground. Don compiled everything: timestamps, footage, topography data, and sent it straight to the county inspector. So when Janet started pointing fingers and claiming this was just a landscaping improvement, the county pulled out Don's video. Her face turned pale. She tried blaming Roger. Roger blamed bad maps. But none of it mattered. The EPA was called. A federal lawsuit was filed. And the HOA? They were slapped with a $2.6 million fine for environmental negligence and unlawful aquifer contamination. Still, that was just the start of their nightmare. Because after contaminating the water supply, Janet had one more surprise waiting for her. The entire neighborhood turned against her. Maple Hollow Estates went into full mutiny. Within 2 weeks, 6 homeowners filed individual lawsuits against the HOA board, claiming dereliction of duty and breach of fiduciary responsibility. People couldn't sell their homes. Property values tanked. Families with kids had to install their own filtration systems just to shower. And all of it traced back to one arrogant decision: dig first. Ask questions never. Janet Withers was removed from her post in a unanimous vote. Roger Green was charged with environmental endangerment. And the HOA board was dissolved after a civil judge ruled that they had operated in clear and reckless violation of public safety protocols. The town had to allocate emergency funds to flush the contaminated system. It took 6 months and nearly $800,000 to restore safe drinking water. As for Don Barkley, he became a quiet hero. The town held a small ceremony honoring him for exposing the truth. When asked why he decided to step in, he simply said, "If someone's gonna mess with the water people drink, you don't stay silent. Not when you know better." Maple Hollow is still rebuilding its reputation. Buyers are wary. The old HOA sign is gone, and no one's dared dig a trench since. But every time someone mentions that one neighborhood with the illegal drain, the story spreads like wildfire. An entitled HOA tried to fix a puddle and nearly poisoned a town. Ever wondered how far an HOA will go to protect their image even if it puts lives at risk? This story proves ignorance isn't just dangerous, it's contagious. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video if you believe HOA power should come with accountability. And if your HOA is doing something shady, document everything. The next water crisis could be one trench away.